Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about Tetzimoc again. This is my second go round. My computer is shut down on the first one. So anyway, I actually got to I was almost done. Anyway, Tetzimoc is the last legendary creature from Rivals of Ixalan that I haven't done. And as y'all know, I am going through to use every single legendary creature to build an EDH deck with. This is 250 something. I don't know, 251, 250. Anyway, we're getting there. I am over a third of the way done. So, hey, keep trugging along. Now, Tetzimoc here does not really lend himself that well to EDH because his ability, you got to play the ability from your hand. So there's not a whole lot of cards. There's a few cards out there that allow you to put him from the command zone in your hand. There's not a lot. I actually have used all of mine in the Phage deck, if y'all will remember that, so I don't insta-lose. But anyway, so the object here is to run him out quick, let him die, put him back in our hand, and use that ability, if we even want to use that ability. But it's not really necessary for this deck. I kind of built him a little different. I'm sure that this list will not appear anywhere else because y'all know I'm me and I like to do a little different. But anyway, let's ramp this guy out real quick. So, obviously, the first thing that we're going to do is living the dream is turn one Soul Ring into Jet Medallion. Maybe if we weren't that fortunate, maybe we've got a Charcoal Diamond. But the Worn Power Stone, the colorless, the Worn Power Stone, the Mind Stone. Mind Stone's not bad either. One of you guys criminally underplayed used that phrasing on it, and I do honestly believe that. This is amazing. It's good early, it's good late. I mean, Star Compass, Guardian Idol, and Sisay's Ring. Now, I've also got a few things in here, like Dark Ritual and Cabal Ritual. Now, those are one-shots, but it's still ramp. I mean, it's probably some of the earliest ramp that, we had, barring all that expensive junk. But I'm also using Liliana of the Dark Ritual here because she's amazing. Now, her second ability does kind of fit with the deck because removal is kind of the theme of the deck, but her first and last ability, the first ability especially because black don't get that. We don't get that ability in black. I mean, it's searching up lands is typically reserved for green. The ability to do it in black is just sweet. Even if you've got lands in your hand, it is thinning your deck. It is ensuring future land drops. And if you get that ultimate, I'll let her die because you know what? Multiple of that emblem doesn't stack real anyway. So, but making all your swamps into Lake of the Deads is just pretty sweet. So let's look at some removal. Taking it way back with, of course, the original removal, Terror, and then a few years went along and we got Dark Banishing because apparently it's regenerating and artifact creatures are a problem. But, of course, Doomblade. Got me some autographed Doomblades from Chippy. Tragic Slip is there to get rid of those big, nasty, indestructible Eldrazi guys because, that's a problem. -13 kills a lot of stuff now. I like to think that Incremental Blight is a 3-for-1 in the right scenario it is, but also the -1/-1 counters can wreak havoc on any deck that depends on +1/+1 counters, because as you know, the +1, if a creature has a +1 counter and a -1 counter, they're just both removed because they cancel each other out. But this can actually, in addition to kill creatures, it can mess up a +1/+1 counter strategy. Now, Malicious Affliction is pretty daggum sweet. I mean, but we're talking killing 3 things in one turn. So something's got to die, and then you got to cast this to boom, boom. So, but it's a pretty sweet card. Sudden Death. Another card that absolutely is going to give something -4. It's going to happen. It's split second. It does get around indestructible. Now, they still got to be all, like, able to be targeted and whatnot. But every now and then, this is such a beautiful card. I don't mean the art. I mean just the overall aesthetics of a 3-word text box. It's so magical. Every once in a while, they'll stumble upon it, and I'm glad that they actually left out no flavor text on it, because it is so beautiful. Just 3 words. Destroy target creature. I love it. To the Slaughter. Yeah, they're going to sack something. It's Diabolic Edict-esque. And if you got Delirium, it's really cool. And, speaking of Diabolic Edict, I think now we're going to get into the kill lots of things. And, being indestructible or Shroud or Hexproof, really, Mutilate don't care about any of that. It's, things are, and more than likely, and y'all know from Mutilate in a mono black deck, it is tantamount to wipe the board. Everything, everything must go. It's a fire sale. Black Sun, same song, except this uses counters. So even you can selectively Black Sun if you want to leave some things alive and you want to kill some things, or if you just want to Black Sun for 1 and take off all the the +1/+1 counter that they just put on everything that makes them all cool with abilities or whatever. Infest, of course, -2/-2 to all creatures. Sorcery speed, by the way. I love the player rewards cards when they. I know I mentioned this once before, but it's been a while since I've talked about it. When they discontinued the Magic player rewards, we used to get these for just playing in tournaments. They would mail them to your house ever so many tournaments, and ever so often, ever so many tournaments you played in, you would get a full one, and that's where your full Damnations and Wrath of Gods and Cryptic Commands. Good Lord, why did they do Cryptic Command as textless? Anyway, but they said when they killed that program that they were going to use this resource elsewhere. Now, these are beautiful. There's no denying it. I was really wanting them to bring these back, like for F&M cards, or, well, hell, now that's dead. But, this is a beautiful, beautiful template, and they don't have to do it on cards like Cryptic Command. Please don't do it on cards with 20-something words of text. But, Infest, Wrath of God, Lightning Bolt, Counterspell, all those were good. Anyway, Crux of Fate is, more times than not, it's just going to be destroy all creatures. You get your ramp up and up. In Garrick's Wake is just a one-sided beating. It is a total beating. Now, I'm running Dry Spell because 1/1s are a problem, and if nothing else, Krinko just absolutely, Krinko and Elves and Pegasus and, all the little 1/1s. And I've seen players go absolutely crazy with Thalas and Saprolings. So, anyway, Dry Spell, I'm playing a Homelands card. Makes me feel good. Sudden Spoiling is, in my opinion, one of the better political cards. I've got it in with the board wipes because that's most of the time what it is. I have cast a Sudden Spoiling in response to a Pyroclasm on an opponent. By the way, that's a good way to lose friends. But it's really good if there is a huge combat that you are not a part of, or, in this deck, you could totally be a part of it and just block and blow somebody out. It's a blowout every time. We all know that. Sudden Spoiling, because there's nothing they can do. Split Second is amazing. I'm hoping we get Split Second back when we go to Dominaria, because this is as close as they can get rules-wise to the old Interrupts. But they tied Split Second to the Time Spiral block because of what was happening with the story. So I don't know if they can go to that well twice in the story, or if they're willing to, but I know we would all love to see the mechanic again. And since we're killing a ton of things, Black Market's just going to give us a ton of mana. Now, granted, it's a 5 mana investment in the game. It's not going to have, like, any kind of board presence whatsoever when you play it. But it's one of those cards that it is an investment in the game. Diabolic Tutor, not so much. It's going to go get what we need. Predator Flagship is, of course, reusable. Removal. Or, if you just got to get in there with your commander, that's a good way to do it. Now, speaking of getting in there with your commander, that's probably how we're going to win most games with this deck, is just doing commander damage. However, he is not at one of the magic 3 numbers. By the way, I heard started listening to a new podcast because I work an hour away from home, so I have a chance to listen to quite a few, and I've just found them. They're not really new; they're new to me, but they've been doing it about a year. It's the Commander Cookout podcast. They're up in Canada. I realize, my name is Canada, but anyway, it's great information. They're very entertaining. I have had to stop. I think every one of their podcasts I've listened to, I've had to stop it at some point, finish my laughing fit, and go on. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later, but they do beat wholesale ass. Anyway, Capital Punishment. One day we'll get voting cards right, and I'm betting Conspiracy 3 has the answer. Because, every time they do things, they get better. Assuming they don't, just botch it the first go-round and make it super overpowered. They didn't do that with voting, so they keep tweaking it to get it a little better. Swiftfoot Boots is, of course, going to protect our general. Wretched Confluence is one of our better Swiss Army knives here because, you can draw some cards, you can kill some things, or you can get Tetzimoc back from your yard. And that's probably what it's for, is you run Tetzimoc out there and you start beating face with him, he's going to die. And then when he goes to the graveyard and you get him back, you can use his ability to put some doom counters on everything, or prey counters, I'm sorry, not doom counters, prey counters, and come down. So, but that's a super obvious line of play, so your opponents almost don't want to kill him, but they got to kill him if he's killing them. But anyway, to return Tetzimoc to your hand is kind of a recurring theme here, especially with Phyrexian Reclamation, which, by the way, I am banking on Phyrexians in Dominaria because they're there. They're there. There's a strain of Phyrexians on Dominaria. So get ready. We're going to see them. Now, and here, repeatable Raised Dead, not bad. Blood Reckoning is about as close as we can get to, I guess we could have used Hissing Miasma, but it's kind of our ghostly prison-ish effect, It does make them think twice. There's no payment involved, but it does make them think twice. As far as political cards go, too, I love the Deadly Designs. Now, it has the potential to be a great card. It also has the potential to be the worst card in the deck, because if you're spending all 12 mana to pop 2 dudes, that's bad. But I'm betting you're going to have some help, because there's going to be 2 creatures on the board that most players agree need to go. Skeleton Shard is another way to get Tetzimoc back to your hand, and that crazy life gain deck, when somebody, it never fails, they do this loop and they gain a bunch of life, or and hey, you just kind of lost twice that much. Yeah. Now, we are playing mono black, so I am playing some Swamps Matter cards. Mind Sludge is going to make an opponent have a really, really bad day. Gary, and I love Gary because it's each opponent. In the late game, this can come down and just end games. It has. He's been doing it since the card was printed. And, of course, I'm playing Nightmare, Corrupt, Tendrils of Corruption, and the Lash Wrath. The Lash Wrath is to get you to one of those magic numbers. The magic numbers, obviously, are 7, 11, 21, because, and as I said, the Commander Cookout guys really did an excellent job of portraying that. I've operated on 7 or higher for years, but 7, you got 3 hits to kill them with commander damage. The next step up to 2 hits is 11, because 10 won't quite get you there. And then, of course, you got 21 as your one shot. Now, the rest of the creatures here are actually, the rest of these are creatures. So I wanted the 187 creatures. Necrotol, of course, he was one of the first ones. He's amazing. Been in cubes forever. I mean, we recently got an upgraded version of him in Murder Puppy, because let's face it, that's what he is. And of course, we've had the Shriekmaw for a while. Now, those are all, of course, they come to play, they kill things. Shriekmaw, you don't have to keep it around. You can play it as your Doomblade or whatever. But they're all really good. They become excellent with cards like Hell's Caretaker. The ability to, during your upkeep, swap a live creature for a dead creature. That's sweet, especially if one of them or both of them has those comes into play abilities, and you can just start bouncing. It's beautiful. So Vampire Nighthawk can, stale up a board real quick, because unless they can kill it, they're just about not swinging into it, barring, first strike shenanigans. But it's really good. Love the Death Touch. Steel Hellkite is like, that's our enchantment removal. That's our artifact removal, because we're mono black, and it's non-land permanent. So, yeah. Our Undertaker, also going to get your Tetzimoc back. Dread just makes, attacking the player that has Dread, it makes attacking you a difficult proposition, because unless they're going to kill you, they've got to be worried about losing their team. And even then, if they do kill you, they're still going to lose their team, and they're going to be dudeless with the rest of the table, so they're going to be totally defenseless. Anyway, love Dread. And I love that last line of, it does kind of subvert milling, but that's just kind of a bonus side effect. The reason why that's on there, we all know why that's on there, is so that you can't reanimate it. That's what they had to do. Now, Mortivore is just the Lurgoyf that keeps on growing, because as much removal as we have in the deck, this guy is going to get ridiculous, and he does regenerate. Now, as you know, they've started phasing out regeneration and things that hate on regeneration, so that's good for the lifespan of a Mortivore. Roll Assassin, Roll Assassin, of course, been killing things forever, but it really puts a premium on vigilance, and it makes people pay attention, because, attacking creatures tap as part of declaring them as attackers, and then the Roll Assassin can just pick them off before they deal damage. So it's a beautiful card. It is an old school one, but I like him for repeatable removal. Gravediggers, obviously, just to get the Tetzimoc back. We have the Gatekeeper of Malakir to get another Diabolic Edict effect. The Butcher of Malakir is in there because, quite frankly, I am out of grave packs. And, hey, it comes with a 5/4 body, so that's never bad. And we have Reaper from the Abyss. Now, Reaper from the Abyss, there's a chance here, because I have killed my own, had to kill my own stuff, because he is like the only demon in the deck, I think. And, there are scenarios where, everything else is dead and he's just, eating your stuff. But, hey, maybe it's worth it. Last card we got that's not land is, of course, the Overseer of the Damned. Now, you get to pop creature when it comes into play, but with the way the deck is built, we can totally get a ton of zombies. If this guy comes out early and we're still shooting dudes down, we're just going to slowly develop a zombie army. Now, I do want to show this land, because Arcane Light. Whoop, focus now. Why are we not? Why?